Hello, hello. Welcome back, guys. Another episode, another
Yes,
day.
another one.
Baseball moms.
Baseball
What's up,
mom.
Tiff?
What's up, girl?
So we're back again, back in action.
This one I think is kind of like last show. Might be a little kind of. I think it will kind of fire me up. I know last show you were fired.
I was fired up last show. Tiffany's gonna get fired up. I'm gonna get a little fired up.
I think you will too. Yes.
Yeah, we were thinking of things that you kind of are pretty passionate about when it comes to baseball, and this one is one for us. I know there are a lot of opinions about it, wouldn't you say? Yeah?
Yeah, probably too many.
Probably. But we thought it'd be fun to discuss the umpire situation, right?
Yes.
Umpires. It's a big topic because so many people, you hear so many complaints.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that people have a lot to say about it, but gosh, man, people are not perfect, and there will be some mistakes.
Okay, if there are any perfect people out there, I suggest you go apply to be an umpire.
I've been thinking about it, actually.
Gosh. Wait, you might be one?
I was thinking about
you
that.
You are perfect.
When I retire, which is 12 months and some change.
Oh, my gosh.
It's
Jenny,
on my list of things to do.
Seriously, that is awesome. And no one will argue with you because you always have a really good rebuttal. Yeah. I think. Yes, I think it is. If there's anything, I try not to get worked up about stuff. But if there's anything that bothers me at games, it's people giving umpires problems. Like my blood boils. I just don't let's just not look like idiots, okay? Let's, as parents and coaches and players, I've seen it in players.
Yes.
Mouthing off lately. And B, I guess why I'm a little bit, we talked about before the show about what we're going to talk about and I thought of being talking about the umpires because in our past tournament this past weekend, out of all the games we played, we had two coaches, opposing coaches, never ours. Two opposing coaches got kicked out of the games, and they were belligerent. I'm not joking.
Oh, gosh.
Belligerent. And you know what? We're not about calling out clubs, and I'm not going to do that. But it was, ironically, from the same club. 2 different days, 2 different teams, 2 different coaches at third base that thought they had a better eye of, balls and strikes. Like, why does anybody – now, I kind of have a rule with where I sit in the stands. I used to like to sit right behind the umpire, and I would never say anything. But this is bad, and Cooper knows this, but I used to judge what I thought he should swing at as opposed to the decisions he was making at the plate. I had a coming to Jesus moment and thought to myself, and not that, there was any problem. Cooper doesn't care. He doesn't even know where I am half the time. But, I started thinking, why? I don't need to judge what the umpire's saying. I don't need to judge Cooper. I need to, I trust Cooper's judgment. So I cannot stand sitting behind the plate anymore anyway. I don't like it. It's a little uncomfortable. I don't even like the view of the whole field. I just don't. I like to sit kind of off to the side. But there's nobody in the ballpark that's going to have a better view of what's a ball and strike than the umpire, and maybe the batter and the catcher. But why argue balls and strikes? Especially coaches. You don't have that same, because if I'm sitting on the side, on either the first or third baseline, I'm not, there are some, especially if I'm Cooper's a left-handed batter. If I'm facing his back, if I'm on the first base side, I can't always see the ball anyway. Why the coaches think at first and third that maybe they were able to see it. But why argue it?
Right.
I just think there's a couple bozo things to do in life, but why ever argue being a balls and strike? Is the ump really going to change? I've never seen in my whole life an ump change his call, ever. And yeah, we're all human, and I am I guess I'm a very forgiving person because I know I make a lot of mistakes. If I'm going to put myself in a position where people are going to judge me, I'm going to mess up. I just know I will. And I think as parents and coaches and players, we all have to have a little bit more grace when it comes to that. And to see, Jenny, not to, again, revert back to this weekend, but it really bothered me. Like I got like really bothered. Like these coaches were belligerent. Not only were, and you're not going to believe the second one, but this first guy said the F word a few times and like yelled it at the umpire, and even after he got kicked out, kept yelling it.
Classy.
Yeah,
Really classy.
Way to stay classy.
Yeah.
The second one though.
Okay, you have to tell me after. I'm like, now I'm so intrigued.
You want to know the club?
I do. So after,
Yes.
we're talking off camera.
Never put down a club at
Yeah.
y'all, but I will tell you that. Yeah, and maybe, but they are representing a club. I don't know the club from whoever. I mean, we've played the club, but I've never gotten a bad impression before. But this just left a bad taste in my husband's and my mouth. The second guy, though, Jenny, he got kicked out of arguing a ball and a strike for his pitcher. And he thought it was a strike. The umpire called a ball. Well, so we ended up getting out. I don't know how, but it was in between innings. And he like charges the umpire and starts talking to him and yelling at him. And I mean, the poor umpire has had enough. Not only is he probably on his third or fourth game of the day, he's probably, I'm not making excuses, but hot. And, the guy was just going on and on. I thought the ump gave him plenty of chances, but then the ump kicked him out, but then he wouldn't leave. He still stayed there and argued, and then the poor umpire's like, I'm done. I'm calling the game. I'm leaving. And at the time, we were down. We were down 3-2. So we're out in the field, right, and our boys are getting upset. They're like, no, because we're thinking if they're done, then they won the game. But the worst part is that the poor umpire started to walk. We were on the first base side. The other team was on the third base side. He started to walk towards the third base and try to go up. It was one of the fields that it wasn't, the doorway to get out of the, ballpark was right by the right field, or what am I trying to say? The dugout.
Yes.
Sorry, the dugout. The coach blocked the umpire and didn't let him out and was still screaming.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so then the umpire, the poor umpire, had to walk to our side in the first base dugout, and he got out that way. None of us stopped him. But it made me really sad, and call me sensitive or whatever you want, but like, what does it come to that a 16-year-old baseball game is that important over a judgment call? And instead of that judgment, that being like that, it's more important to be belligerent and yell at somebody and humiliate somebody. Just doesn't, not my, that's the part of baseball that bothers me.
So sad. So many things went through my head when you said, I'm like, this. Yes. Like, it's crazy. A few things, if I can remember them all, because I don't know, but see if I can kind of. One, I used to sit right behind home plate as well. That was always my thing. A few things I had to stop because usually they set up the camera for Game Changer. And with this mouth of mine. Yeah. So we realized that wasn't the best place for me. And then I would have friends texting, we can hear everything you're saying.
You guys don't mute it though? Like we mute it.
Not always, no.
Yikes.
So I went ahead and realized it wasn't a good place for me. And so I go ahead and I skedaddle on way far away from the camera. Jace is a lefty. And so I'm not going to lie that I may have a time or two. I've grown since then, but would get frustrated because I felt like the lefties kind of got not the same calls that they did not, back in the day. But now I've realized. But you also have to know that as a pitcher's mom,
I'm sure
sometimes
that's
it is hard because you're watching. You're like,
yeah.
oh, for the love of the game, how big is the box? Come on. But I do also understand. So there is some of that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, sure. That's hard though. Yeah.
And something I was thinking about that you said, Coach Miller, we had two Coach Millers.
Okay.
And I want to say, it was probably Coach J.Y. Miller said, used to always say, parents. And I love this about him. He'd be like, stop, or come out. Like he would hold them accountable and be like, knock it off. And he would always say, do you really think that the umpire is going to change the call because you're crabbing? And then he said, you're going to make it harder for our kids. If you keep complaining, any close calls we're not going to get. So really it's going to go against you to stop. And we always said that if you think you could do a better job, then go try it and see. And I
Yeah, I
bet you
love
would
that
realize
answer.
it's a little bit harder than you think.
Absolutely.
So I think
Absolutely.
that's a lot of it too. Now, if I do end up being an umpire, the only thing that for me that I think makes an amazing one versus, like, I don't want you keeping me guessing on is it
Yeah.
a strike
Oh,
or is it a ball? Like,
Some
I want
are
you
a
to tell
little
me,
hesitant.
like, yeah, that
Like, own it. Just strike.
And I want it to be like, I want to hear you.
Yeah.
Strike.
Yes.
Or, but like, I don't want to be like, huh? What do you call that?
Yeah.
Now that's my only thing. Whatever you want to call it. But I'm gonna need to hear it. Like, and really, if you're
True.
animated about it, I'm gonna
That's
get
even
real
kind of
excited
more
about that. Like, I'm gonna give
fun.
you like a 10.5.
Yeah.
If you got some sassy like hand moves and dance stuff in between, and
There
like
you go.
that,
You should
I'm
do
really. This is what I'm talking about.
You're going to totally do it. You're jazzercise, so you're good.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know
like,
the
so
moves.
that I get excited, but I want to hear you. I want you to, and I do want you, like, own it. I don't want it to be like you're waiting. Now, some of them, I'll help them out. I might be like,
Oh, that was a
great,
strike.
great, yeah, great pitch. So then, strike.
Oh, that's definitely
But
a
yeah.
strike. Jenny said so.
Yeah, like I want to get them
Aw.
bracelets that say WWJD. What would Jenny do?
Yes.
So that
get
would be
one.
cool, right?
Hey, that will
but,
get one. I'll
yes,
get one that says
those
that.
are fun things.
Yes.
However, a couple things I will say is that, some of this comes down to that there have been amazing umpires. And I think that what parents and coaches and players all have to realize is sometimes you don't have them around anymore
Yeah.
because they're not going to put up with the shenanigans. And
No.
so they realize that for $20, 25, whatever it is, a
Yeah,
game
they
and
don't
in the
care.
heat, that it's not worth all the
No.
badgering they're getting and that.
No.
So then sometimes you do have umpires that maybe are not as amazing as you would like because
would
guess
like, yeah.
what? You have scared off
All the good ones.
all the good ones because they don't want to. They don't have to take it anymore.
Yeah.
They have put up with so much
Yeah.
junk that they're like, you know what?
Why
I'm
would I
not
wanna
doing
do
this.
it? No.
So really, if you want to keep the good ones and there are ones you like, and you want those games to be called, the right way, and you want then act right. And really,
Absolutely.
coaches should be keeping their parents in check
Oh, 100%.
and the players.
100%. And we're lucky, I don't think, definitely on our premier team. I mean, we don't have any parents that are like that. I mean, and, so I don't, but I also think a couple things. Your coaches set that
Correct.
standard.
Correct.
And they, our coaches, I'll give out a shout out to Coach Russ Hill and Ben Thornton and Dave Cook. Like, they're outstanding people. So you're not going to see we know what they expect.
Correct.
Not that we would, even if we had coaches that would allow that, we wouldn't do that. But like, we're not going to look like that. We're not going to
Right.
represent our kids and our program and our team to look like that.
You have to lead by example.
Here's another thing. Yeah, if I had to go off on a tangent about that, I was thinking, like, parents, you're role models. And if you're going to argue, you're just embarrassing your kid. And if your kid's not embarrassed, then I'm sure your kid's probably prone to argue with the ump, too. I mean, we've seen that. I mean, I've heard kids yell, do your job, or you have one job to do. I mean, no. And I am not a parenting expert. But I would think that the kids who are held accountable for the most part know not to say stuff like that to them.
Right.
I mean, our kids know. I just know it. And there's reasons. We've had high school baseball games canceled because there's an ump shortage. Same goes with basketball refs. Same goes with any type of – they take abuse. And I just feel for them. And I think anytime parents are entitled enough, kids are entitled enough to think they're going to change the ump's call. Now, MLB's different. I know that they call it in New York and they have reviews. Same with NBA and WNBA and stuff like that. But if they think that they're really going to change their mind, why? I guess, like, I'm just the type of person that's like, I'm not going to waste my energy on that. I'm here to enjoy the game, to cheer on my son, cheer on his team. And I am not going to waste my energy on trying to do someone else's job when they're more than capable. And I know people are probably thinking, well, we've had awful umps and refs. I'm not saying that they haven't, but
a majority of games are not going to be determined by one ball or strike.
I promise you. And it's
one
not
call. If you are flat coming out to play ball and doing what you're supposed to, that
worry
one
about
ball
that.
Or strike or this or that should not be determining a game.
No. And Jenny,
I'm not saying there's never been a call that hasn't. I get that.
Yes.
We've been there. There are a lot, but for the most part, that should not be determining it. So
no. And I just think it's also a part of life. Like, you're not going to always agree with what people say. What are you going to do? Yell at people that don't have your same opinion? Maybe some people live like, it's a life lesson too. I mean, you're going to, in your workforce, you're not going to always agree with what the uppers say. I just think, it's going to be hard for some people, and I'm sure a lot of people might disagree, but I think it's just try to keep in perspective what we're talking about here. You're not going to, it's not life or death. Everybody makes mistakes. And this is one thing, I just get upset about, because I also see it with parents and just yelling nasty things. And like, how does that, wait a second, like, how does that how do you think you look like right now? Are you that special that you're going to change a person's mind? And how does it look to the people around you that you're screaming and arguing over something? And hey, I'm going to call my own son out. There are times, and Cooper will tell you this, but Jenny, one of my pet peeves, just really with my son, God love Coop, but he's a hitter, and I don't like it when and everybody does it, and he's going to do it the rest of his life. I don't know why I keep thinking he's never going to strike out looking the rest of his life on a curveball or fastball. I don't know why I think that, but it happens still, and it's going to happen the rest of his life. Happens to MLB players. But there are times where my son will come in the car after a game, and, we're pretty even-keeled. I mean, if he has bad, but striking out looking, he just knows gets to me. So he'll just get in the car, and, we'll just be talking. We're not even talking about it, and he'll just be like, well, the ump on that strike three. I'm like, According to the ump, he's the superior. He's your boss when you're up there. It was a strike. I don't care if it was outside. Swing the bat and go oppo. When you have two strikes, you have to try. I mean, to me, striking out looking, my skin's crawling right now thinking about it. And a lot of moms on our team don't like it, but because to me, you're going out not trying. If you at least swing, you're trying. But again, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and I give a lot of grace to that, but I don't like it when, the ump on that, Cooper. I'm like, Cooper, it can't be perfect. Right. You just got to battle when it's two strikes. You got to be gritty. Anything close. So, again, even when it comes from my own child, who would never argue with the ump on the field, but we just shut it down.
All the time, we're like, they'll say that wasn't, it wasn't a strike. And we're like, well, what did the ump call it? He's like, well, he called it a strike. I said,
boss.
Then it was a strike.
Then it was your boss.
I mean, that's what he called it, then that's what it was.
Yes,
and
exactly.
we move on now.
Sorry, kid. Love you.
Yes. Middle, Jace would not argue. And man, I want to say that Reed wouldn't, but he is me, and I am him, and we are one. Yeah. And now I don't argue with but
he'll tell you later.
He is the male version of me. He is feisty, and so yes, he is going to do amazing things one day. He is going to be an attorney. There is something he's going to do, and it is going to suit him well. But yes.
Well, hopefully it's not a coach, and then he argues.
Oh, gosh. I don't think he'll argue, but I do think that yes.
No, just joking.
But yes, and that's what we always say, though. But we're like, well, what did the ump call? Well, then that's what it was. Yeah. But yes, I just say, a lot of times they've never changed anything. It's not going to determine. Sure. And at the end of the day, it's a baseball game.
It
is.
So. Seriously, if that's all I had to worry about in life is baseball and balls and strikes, I would live forever.
Right.
Doesn't bother me. I don't care. You call. I don't care if it's my kid. You call what you want to call. You're not going to hear anything from me. I'm just enjoying getting a tan and watching my favorite sport and
checking out the concession stand
and eating a cheeseburger if they have one. A lot of the ones we go to don't have them, but eating something unhealthy, unlike my friend.
No, I got to tell you.
Did you have a cheeseburger?
No, I am going to tell you though. We were in Atlanta. Jace is still there, but I went over the weekend and flew in Monday night, and oh my gosh, the best at East Cobb, the concession stand food, and you know
so
me
good.
that I am not.
No,
it was legit.
Really?
Like they had sweet potato fries even.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
this is what I am talking about. They had wraps.
Did they have your seltzers?
Chicken. I did not check.
I'm joking.
But they had
you don't drink them.
Grilled chicken.
That's like legit fast
Caesar
like a
wraps.
restaurant.
Their pretzels
were
the bomb diggity.
I'm
and
so proud of you for eating.
They
like
even
that.
had where they could be cinnamon and sugar ones if you wanted.
Oh, I like those.
When I say
those
to you that the food, I was like, oh my gosh, Tiffani would be in heaven. Like I thought of you. And
did you?
I did.
Oh, Jenny, I love sugar. I used to be a PE and health teacher, and I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't eat fruits and vegetables. I don't eat fruits and vegetables. I really don't. But I sure love sugar. I do, and I love carbs, and I just like
Not
a
all
good
carbs
cheeseburger.
are bad.
Right, but probably the ones I eat are. I mean, I work out. That's good, but I mean,
There was one sad thing that happened though.
What?
I left my golf umbrella there.
You did?
Well, technically, Travis did.
Travis, this is your fault.
He
Go
was
back to East Cobb and get it.
And it made me so sad because they're not cheap. And when
No,
it's
those
raining,
are-
they're
those
amazing.
are
When
pretty-
it's sunny, and I really was so sad about it.
Sorry about that.
It's fine.
Jeez, get yourself an umpire job and make some extra money.
I'm thinking about
Go
it.
get a
12 months and some change.
Yeah, girl. I'm really proud of you.
So,
and
thanks.
thank you. Thank you for backing me on the umps.
I
Back
got
the
you. I
blue, like
got you.
our friend
Yeah.
Drew said.
Back
over
the
there.
blue in lots of ways.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, we're not expecting to change anybody's mind. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
That's right.
Correct. And that's fine if you want to look like that.
It's fine.
But I ain't.
Nope.
And she ain't either.
Not happening.
So you're welcome. That's a nice PSA from us, I think.
Yes. That's what we got for
Actually,
you today.
our job's done.
Right?
Our job
That's
is
it. Our job
done.
is done today.
Because you know what? The baseball moms watching, they have enough brains to know they're not going to do it next time.
And just so you know, I didn't even plan the blue on Back to Blue, but it just happened. So
Yeah. Because you're getting ready for that umpire job.
All right, I guess until next time, we will see you then. Make sure to drop any comments and hit the subscribe button and head on out to Prime Sports, right? And
Yes.
check out what they got going on
Yeah.
there. Lots of good stuff. And to check out Dave and Dave at Game 7. I mean, there's so many good
They're
things,
great.
right?
Yeah, we have a lot of good things.
So
that
much
support,
good stuff.
Support this show, and we're so thankful.
Yes, we are. All right, until next time, we'll catch you then.
Yeah,
See ya.
catch it and see ya, and be nice to those umpires.